mom so thin that she was made of bones and skin, and her sister, who people always were drawn to because she was whiter. My cousin remembers the wrath of poverty that inspires ambition. I helped load my uncle into the ambulance and stared deep at his chest hair, white now because he couldn't dress himself anymore. I look at my dad across from me and wonder how far off he is from my uncle and how far I am from him. During the dying of the stars, I think of how hard they must have once shone, how life thrashes in us forever, then one day sits up and gives way, without a fuss, without argument, without hesitation. During this, plants live and die around us, reminding us of a great mortality and the absurdity of living under that roof.
Continuing applause for his first round. May Capaldi. May. Earlier today, and this is the first time at Blue Hour, so applause. Many applause.
So strangely enough, I'm gonna also read a poem about my uncle.
So good. Wait, I'm gonna make. Oh, you got it. You got it.
Thanks. They find it. All right. This is based on a story I grew up hearing. Uncle Harold. When Uncle Harold died, well, the first time he didn't, his mother, whose name I knew once, whose pearl earrings remained concrete, his mother, on receiving the flag and letter, whether it was blind optimism or a mother's instinct or denial, his mother knew he wasn't gone. Not gone like the pearls from the mouth of a clam, stuck in her ears like his voice. She rationed her hope like butter and sugar. Her reserves became a wall of gold stars, and all that holding on made them shine. So when he eventually showed, and she stopped having to do without, generations after got drunk on hope, eroded the sky with oil, and now when people die, they really do. Do I have time to read a second?
Oh, wait, we just do the one poem.
Oh, you just do one?
The trick is if you have two short poems to read, you just mash them together. Don't say anything. That's the trick. Pro tip from somebody going to open mics for 20. Just keep on talking. People are like, did she just start talking about Jello? Can you follow it? Yeah, exactly. Okie dokie, who's next? This says, oh, Irene. I thought that was an F. Irene Daniels. But everyone's so surprised, like me? Yeah, put your name in.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah, please.
Sorry, I come from a land far away, South Dakota. I just moved here, so I'm very new to the area. Okay, so I wrote this, and I'll just read it. You'll get the gist as I go along, I think. It's called Modern Day Outlaw. You John Wayne idolizing motherfuckers need to realize a few things. Y'all ain't no cowboys no matter how your shitty song sings. Your sparkle jeans and designer boots and hat make me want to take a big old shat. You look like you could give a shit less about these small towns, you big fucking hacks. Sit your ass down and listen a spell. Why don't you try that? The words you belt out on your fancy tours have made me all too sure. You're still probably going to join us on the bus to hell. I doubt you believe any of the godly bullshit you spew, but I know what these people that listen to you are probably going to do. they're going to make my queer life harder. My life is not up for being bartered. I grew up with a figure that fancied himself my father. But all he saw in me as his daughter was an extension of himself, nothing but self-glorifying cannon fodder. He saw himself as the small-town wannabe modern-day outlaw. So many mediocre men just want to go back to the good old days of yeehaw. It makes me want to lasso them all into a herd, even to the pigs. You dig?
You dig. Oh my gosh. Welcome. Some of us have an ongoing Chicago recruitment mission, so it's plain that we got you here. And please stick around. All right, Shivani, come on up.
Hi everyone. Hi. So good to see you all. Okay, this one's called Self-Portrait as a Kind of Devouring. When the apocalypse comes, I demand to be eaten first. Uncoordinated zombie, whales, sharks, and military fish schools sleuthing in sync to take back the land. Return of the feathered dinos, whatever part of Noah's Ark or Attenborough's Dock comes for this reclamation, I'm here for it. They can enjoy my supple thighs, roasted, curried, or grilled. I demand not to be boiled. I refuse to be a salt and pepper kind of meal. Promise me you won't let me go unseasoned. No amount of bird song will make the festering morning breath bacteria worth swallowing. I assume we've all given up on hygiene when the apocalypse hits. I've seen it enough times, the tropes of dystopia, so let me tell you. I will not be a hero and have no desire to be immortalized. I will settle for being someone's sustenance. I refuse to let my hand get cut at the grocery store because someone is hiding in the freezer. I will not let you use peas to unblood me while let all this sauce go to waste. Don't let it clot. I've cried enough through MasterChef seasons to let it know when cooked fresh, it's best. And I've been keeping myself hydrated just in case. Don't think I don't love you. I do. But I'm kind of done with this world, and I think it's done with us too. Don't just read me facts about monogamous animals as the world ends. If only for a season they make commitments, and we're the ones that follow through. There's no shame in dying. I have theories about where we go next, but if this is all it was, I promise to have no regrets, no last wishes, no last dishes, except maybe one last stolen dairy milk for the road. I wasn't made of ambition or opportunity. I was taught to be bored and learn that the world isn't always fair. Forgive me for not wanting to fight for future selves. Take comfort in knowing whatever end comes, this was enough, this was enough, this will always be enough.
So you're without any hungry? Is that me too? Shouldn't say that. Yes, you too? Okay, good. Excellent. All right, one more poet in our open mic. Should it be a multiply folded one? Just a one-time folded one? I don't know. Let's see. Multiple folded ones. Ben Harrington. Ben.
Thank you all so much. Sorry, I have to read the typical iPhone. Okay, it's still a nurse. This one is called Elegy for Beloved Patroclus, and it's shorter than Iliad. Elegy for Beloved Patroclus, Chicago style. To my Cinderella boy, in memoriam, beloved BAR, someday we'll trudge together joyful sunglassed fairways greetings, onward towards 1836 72nd at infinitum poles. May you take no further detours to the beach, spiritus contra spiritum, one day at a time, not less, no more. To Mosa and Habir, the cave in which we slept some 3 centuries from home, salted fish swims yet unnetted, sailing memories uncrystal clear, sandy stubborn other brother, friend, aha, behold, hookahs brightly burning coals, scorching tongues, nicotine dreams, rings of double apple smoke. We forgot when we are traveling, when at home, and when alone. The Benjamises, twice born twin, magnum Jovis incrementum, hear us come now, shooting loudly past Orpheus, Calliope, even Pan. Oh my ecstatic brethren, oh my fennel frocked, honey-dipped, scepter-wielding Kenny, our synthetic chemical vices, salty pleasures, sybaritic sins, sour brews, premier cruise, methamphetamine, cocaine, Viagra, marijuana, GHB, and ketamine, every flavored lube and endless pornographic sites, Cadillacs, thick branch, blue tip rings, cuteness, cloudy indoor nights. To fallen soldiers, departed kith and kin, dirty bitches, stitched up snitches, and even she, laissez-faire of them all. To tomorrow's former lovers behind and head on sinuous muscle memories, curvilinear roads. To those combatants vested fairly and those who lie awake with schemes. We make no oaths to mortal person, swearing the fealty to immortal foes. Although hereafter we may agree to sign NDAs, waivers, and releases in great purplish, whereas fully binding, obsequious legal prose. Or dost thou prefer indiscreet decor upon your marble tombstones blanched? Our saliva smiling raspberries, our asparagus stinking urine pour. We'll sail starry-eyed forever, we'll surf digital seas, stormiest nights. Avast, you mateys ho, espy our XXX GIFs, twinkling lights. Oh, ghost of funny cabin boy, tell us blue your jokes again. A set of golf clubs and a hooker, something Cadillac's boot. Your premature departure, purest pure, cleanest cut, proven proof. Destiny's W, dirty, a stinking pair of deuces. Fate, she's fared no better, and death, well, she's a filthy, fickle whore.
So tempted to be like, death is my best friend. That's what I wanted to say about that. And everybody in the open mic. So good, so good, so good. Okay, on to the featured performance part of our evening. I'm super psyched to have with us 2 wonderful poets to kick things off tonight. I was mulling in my brain, like what to think, what to say. And I was like, Angelique Gabriel and Angelique. I was like, why do we have 2 angel references starting things off our season? What? Staying very holy up in here. Yes. But I was thinking about it, I was like, angels made me think about these 2 poets as prophesiers, as prophets, as people who are offering up in different form, but in, I think, a similar spirit, this sense of sort of invocation, and are offering up different kinds of prayer and just really like in their text and in their language, just making new worlds just emerge. Just new world, new world, new world. So excited for you to hear their poems. We're going to start with Gabriel. I shall read the real bio. Gabriel Ojeda-Sague is a poet and writer living in Chicago. You can cheer for Chicago whenever it's mentioned. Chicago doesn't get quite enough cheering, you know? He is most recently the author of Losing Miami and Madness, which was a finalist for the Publishing Triangle's Tom Gunn Award in Gay Poetry and the T.S. Eliot Foundation's 4 Quartets Prize. He is also co-editor of An Excess of Quiet, Selected Sketches by Gustavo Ojeda, 1979 to 1989. He is currently a humanities teaching fellow at the University of Chicago, but is that still true?
No,
Because
that's
you're done, you're
like
still there.
really true.
That's like
That's the new title.
That's like true, because I know you finished your dissertation.
Yes, and now I'm like, that's the new
We can make that taller. Since you
Oh,
are taller.
maybe do.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
got
once
little
upon a time-
twistiness, yeah,
Once
yeah.
upon a time, I was a sound guy, so you'd think that this would be like very natural.
But now you're a teaching phone.
Yeah. You lose certain skills. Hi, everybody. My name is Ojeda-Sague. Thank you, Marty. Thank you to the CPC team. Thank you to Angelique, who I'm excited to read with. Thank you to Jordan for interpreting. And to all the people who read earlier. So I have some books for sale, and I've got 4 of them, so I feel like I need to pitch you on them. So I'm going to do a really, really brief pitch on these. This is Oil and Candles, my very first book from many moons ago. It's about Santeria and raisins and controversies in poetry circa 2015. It's jazzercise of the language. It's about jazzercise. About body horror. This is Losing Miami. It's about climate change and bilingualism. It's a very bilingual text also, like fair warning or advertisement. And this is my most recent book. This is Madness. Madness takes the form of a fictional selected poems for a fictional poet. So there's a sort of, it has a kind of running narrative through it about a person who lives from 1976 to 2035. And then this is Angelique's book. So it's called Therapy. And I can't pitch it yet, but I'm like excited to be able to pitch it later, and you should buy it if you're okay, so today I'm going to read 2 poems about movies, 2 poems about landscapes. Those are all pretty short. And then I'm going to read 2 things from what I'm imagining to be the next book. Thanks. Any form of completion. But it, it has a sort of theme and a title. But let's start with some short things. The first one is called Your Ray Gun. Your Ray Gun. As the evaporating man blows in the wind 6 worlds away, you polish your ray gun with a multi-wave smile. You humiliate my freeze ray. We co-hallucinate the mother mind and dredge the atmosphere for abandoned automaton children. As the last powder of him drifts with the sunlight, 2 suns, your ray gun, Venus sings our praises, stars align, brazen in the darkness, the flag of the united planets, ragged in the wind, solar wind, 2 suns. In your most sincere voice, you recite a scene from Barbarella. Whoa, sorry.
It's not you, it's the mind, but yeah, you're not quite so close to the mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Sound guy. Okay. Alright, so, you recite a scene from Barbarella. I spell out freeze ray. After several cycles, you tell me you are trapped on Fonda 11 and cannot hear the message from the neo-government. In your tears is the reflection of the sun, 2 suns. Your ray gun. What is worth the vacuum of what is? Who has mapped the flares of the sun, 2 suns? You believe in me, your ray gun. There's no place like home. There's no freeze ray, no mathmos, the water spout flowing upside down. Yes, that's what I remember. The ashen taste on the barrel of your ray gun. Alien angel, sunburn on the shoulder, 2 suns. Here's a little one it's called For Puig, which is a reference. This is a little one called For Puig, which is a reference to the Argentine novelist Manuel Puig, who really liked what used to be called kind of like women's pictures, so sort of old 30s to 50s melodramas and various things like that. Kind of an icon of mine. So this is called For Puig. He just appeared like Rita Hayworth in Gilda in 1946. He went up the stairs like Claudette Colbert in Imitation of Life, 1934. His eyes widened like Brigitte Helm in Metropolis, 1927. He screamed when he saw it like Fay Wray in King Kong, 1933. He ran like Anne Sheridan in Woman on the Run, 1950. He fell onto his back like Joan Crawford in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, 1962. He wept like Simone Simon in Cat People, 1942. He bled like like Janet Leigh in Psycho, 1960. He died like Helen Hayes in A Farewell to Arms, 1932. He saw light just about everywhere. Okay, then I promised you two small poems about landscapes. You'll sense a similar kind of like form to the two we just did. This one's called Variation. Oh, and I'm gonna just like advertise. This came out in a small magazine, and as I said I was gonna advertise it, my brain blanked on the name. So I'm not telling you. Find it somewhere. Complete Variation. That's what this is called. In the past participle of the salt flats, burros at night following gems, preceded by encouragement in acid, or the curiously sharp formations of salt flats. A dust storm thinks in suicide about the ability to make out shapes at night of encouragement. Nothing's drunk here or drowsy at all. If reason with curiously sharp tethers, so sleeps ability in the salt flats, where a breeze recalls a dust storm in the past participle, and a very lizard still eats plastic, gems to make out shapes, tethers, better than anyone. Who employs greatness, and when? Saying greatness to the newly settled water? That encouragement with the salt flats, this principled aching increment, drowsy and evaporating, to make out shapes, tethers, yawn of bone. Okay, this is called Landscape. I'm not gonna say more about it. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh geez, that is beautiful. Whoa, how beautiful. Oh, beautiful. My gosh, that is beautiful. Ain't that beautiful? Oh wow, it's beautiful. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Now that's beautiful. Oh my, it's so beautiful. Oh, just beautiful. My, how beautiful. Damn, that's beautiful. So beautiful. Now this here is just beautiful. Oh, look, it's beautiful. Look, it's so beautiful. Oh, look, for crying out loud, look, it's beautiful. Both one of my stupider poems and I've written after reading Kant, so whatever that tells you about me is cool. So, okay, the next two poems are one a little longer and two, they're from the new book project. So I'm working on a book that's tentatively called And So I Present Myself to Panic. It's about panic in various senses of the word, but the poems I'm reading tonight are essentially about anti-gay and anti-trans panic in the last, 5 years in which it feels like it's really accelerated. There's other things that are going to be planned in there, but that's what I'm doing tonight. So the first poem is called Transvestigator's Song. So if you don't know what a transvestigator is, one, lucky you. Two, basically it's a kind of like conspiracy theory that like every notable person in the world, every sort of famous person is secretly trans. And transvestigators, like, it's a far-right conspiracy, obviously. But basically their thing is that they like talk in forums about the ways you can kind of like, they don't use this word, we do, clock like who's trans out there. But it's like as absurd as like, Brad Pitt has thick hips. Like it's that kind of like, it's very paranoid, it's very scrutinizing. And it gets so far as like real trans people, like the people we understand as trans people, are like often categorized by them as like double trans, which is to say that they're like, let's say Hunter Schafer was born a woman, but then they made her a man, and then they made her again into a woman. So it's like all this, it's a very kind of upside down world of gender. It's very interesting if you're not like deeply horrified by it. So, anyways, this is called Transvestigator's Song. Sorry for introducing you all to that world. I believe in the perfect porcelain of birthing hips and removed ribs, truth in plain sight. The annotation of the skull, the jewel buried in the pineal gland. They've all lied to you. They've made grand pageants of adrenochrome and blood. They've harvested the wide gray sea. Let me be frank with you. Brad Pitt is a woman born Marguerite. She has lines, has scars where her breasts once were, a tender and thin neck, the perfect ankle. You see, the world is shaped like a triangle, and you are just many worlds stacked together. Here in J-Lo is the triangle of the man. Here in Anthony Blinken is the triangle of the woman. We can all be read as runes. We're all timeless. There is, hanging in the sky, the spilled ink of inversion. For everything is not as it seems, but its opposite. Perversion is the wind on your face, it is the ocean's salt. The pelvis is so far from home. Like a photograph in negative, my smile is a kind of hollow black, my hair aglow. I see one's originalness, the perfect specter. Everyone in this world has power over me. Breathe on my shoulder, Olivia Colman, oh husband of changes, lich of anatomists. There's something rotten in the state of women's sports, a poison for small things. Like origami is the body while it fights. It is called Baphomet when everything that is not is and will never be otherwise. For this, and not its reverse, is as desiring as it is desired. The can opener jaw, the perfect brow ridge. Give me the curving spine and the feckless elites, that I may feed it to the children of the tunnels, starved for so long, so empty of song. This is a simple melody then to follow, for it's easy, perfect, to untrust and fold the world over. Okay, and then, this is the last one, but it's longer. I'm glad that Irene established we can curse, because this is going to get weirder than that. Okay, so the poem is technically 1/3 of a poem. It's called 3 Poems on the Theory of Sexuality, which is my play on 2 things. One is Freud's 3 essays on the theory of sexuality, and the second is Ashbery's 3 Poems, which is one of the greatest books of all time, by the way. So I have a sort of, this is a series at the core of this book that is attempting to kind of converge those 2 voices with mine in some sense. This is the first part of that. So it's called 3 Poems on the Theory of Sexuality, but you're getting one of them, because they're kind of long. I thought that if I could put all my hunger down, my instinct and animal magnetism sounding, pinging rather, as tin mallets on tin drums, my assumptions pinned to the wall, and all the leaflets collated like mad in a costly scenario, that would be one way. And next, the thought came to me that I've been, not so subtly, obsessing in public, a radio in a washing machine, in print and beside for years now. And to put it all down implied something shapelier, groomed, and unnecessary, which I had already been doing. A cauldron but no witch, those little brown eyes, grazing animals, sweetly and cloyingly uneven. And so I decided against it. And so I studied the inhuman. Here, these are some old photographs that show me nude. And don't I look an awful lot better in the one on the fainting couch? This is an example of leaving something out and then waiting, watching it dry and germ. Because I'm beautiful, I'll need a burgundy flotation device, and you and everyone you know that I picture can bicycle away to a place that seems even farther than memoir, even greasier than popular opinion, until everyone except me knows that, in all honesty, there's nothing to be done. But, well, richer and crasser and bigger theories they make amounts of sap all over the pelvis, glass slippers, glossy and oversized gloves, no melting point but melting. So now, at noon, I'll spend my time rotating until aberrant, burning like a bush, proof unfettered, an open can of axle grease. We want nothing more than, oh geez, our mothers. Starlets, starhounds, star fiends, who wrote a poem on hammering open a star, who found in hunger a strategy, or more simply a ghost, if a ghost is how we would describe a particular ghastliness of personality, detailed passages in my life and yours, decide before we do the irritations of disclosure. This is important to know at the grocery store. Your friends will die, unsurprisingly, shot glasses lined against the wall in one's pretty life. On top of a sorted dresser, which seemed to almost be marching, whistling, gathering dust like dew, models for measuring the length of the world without looking at it. And so honesty is our only strategy. We're being honest that depicting something so illogical, so cornered and perverse and unceremonious and diving as this, as a balloon staying still in the defense of a tree, or as your baby who's sucking the air, who's obsessed with assholes without yet being able to obsess a balloon in a tree, must be worth admitting to, admiring a fire. I got sick along the way. I revealed myself to extinction rhetoric, to gourmands pulling my tongue and making shapes. I tried to distinguish segments of reality for their unique comforts, zones of indecision. I recite the alphabet under the unique duress of similisexualism. You keep one breath latent in another. Your way of pretending you really are a private person. An irresponsible umlaut falls directly on a sun-soaked synonym for what you know I am, when I still haven't quite decided I am. And so what if I am under all these pretensions and illusions, a child in love with itself, hugging itself to itself until it spins and spins into a woman? It isn't a role made to be played well, this lurking along the mind's suburbs. I am attempting mindfulness of the opinions of others, but you see me as this unfortunate onion, a dense accumulation of littler and littler versions of me, each with an intention of harm and each with an intention of careful recovery. So goes life, at least the life of your imprint. And so I present myself to panic, to this gun-drenched country where land flickers in and out of time periods like a constant signal, and where the only growth is in serious fantasies. You write a letter. I think X. I think I can dedicate this erogenous pixelization to the amphigenics, but that would be just like folding a mystery novel over a bent knee, just pausing the day itself. So then we must commit to thinking the difference between thoughts, circular or linear, leading to themselves or to some location, some finding. And while we search for that vocabulary, it should be clear I lean towards the former. I fear out of weakness and indigo, as if hoping that by sketching the circle enough, I may use its overlaps for a crown. But this is important. This is time for decision making. Like an abuser, like a cat, I groom myself. I learn to live in others. This is a variation on broadcasting. You discover empty moments seem more expressive among the properly developed, the robbers and anti-neurotics who have done their right share of abandoning. Silence composes, prisms balanced on the end of the thumb, a father's alive. You say that light reflecting on the lake looks like a candy coating, like delectable static, to which my best reply is something that should have instead been a shrug. In this set of experiences, hallucination may feel a familiar gesture of confident logic. So too, we must be aware of our garden. Perhaps this is just what it's like to be safe. Perhaps I'm a she the way a boat is. It seems an ensemble is poised to reprise my adolescence as a closet drama where the older and still jobless actor gets all the best lines about my masturbation and self-abuse. He waves his hand at the reading desk, and for what? As no one will see this play performed or already have. A whale bests junipers in Manic's scene. Regardless, focus on closing doors, on blinds decorated by separating light. How obscured are we to the true nature of reality, so long without the sun, or too long in its view, that we can so easily find systems where there are none, pretending that such a mound of moss and ice is architecture, and that its architecture spells death rather than its mound spelling life, true image? All you have to do is admit your error in development, your father's guitar. Who has seen the wind? Fetishists asleep in Mara's dream. So why desire to occupy the most vulnerable position, that seat of rage, the glass bowl? Listening to panic as if you're a soft parade, we stomach shine. I expose myself as a photograph to a repeated dripping of water along my spine and the edge of my jaw. Be sweet. Tell your life's events in order. Your summer in Vienna, you kissed the girl, baseball, your dad on TV, twice the fire, the imago, cancer, vacation in Budapest, sleep for 13 hours. This is necessary for telling the time to strangers. And so here we stand with nothing but questions, when everything seems so poised to die in dust, which makes us feel insignificant and ridiculous. Why bother? Well, for one, the mild air, and that there's nothing of evil in you and me, and that the absurdity of it makes the world seem prepared as a piano is, which is to say stuffed with nails. So if here you weep in questions, it's because you are perverse and parallel to the sky. Starlight is an epoxy that holds the wondering together in time. I stand right here, but corrode into anxiety, can't bear to look up the simultaneous.
Give it up for Gabriel. Yes. Well, moving on from the AV tech career, into regular films. I'm a fan of that move for you. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Everybody shake it out. Shake it out a little bit. Shake it out a little bit. All right. I'm so excited to bring to this area of the room we call stage Angelique Zobitz, who is the author of the chapbooks Burn Down Your House from Mike and Kate Press and Love Letters to the Revolution from American Poetry Journal. Her first book, Seraphim, is available on Cabin Carry Press right now. She is the 2022-2023 Jake Adam York Prize and Philip Levine Prize finalist, multi-nominated for the Best of the Net, Best New Poets, and the Pushcart Prize. Her work appears in the journals Sugar House Review, Yamasee, Obsidian, Literature and Arts of the African Diaspora, the Adirondack Review, Anomaly, and many others. Please give many applauses.
So that was amazing. I wanted to faint and pass out. That was a whole movement right there. So first I want to say thank you to CPC, to Marty, to the staff, to the generative writing workshop, because I had so much fun with you all today, with Jordan, who is doing translation, and then obviously with Gabriel, who I have to follow. I don't know if I should thank you or be really upset. So I do have things to plug, also his, because now I'm so ready to get into this tonight, just off of that, and the next one, seriously. This one, Seraphim, this one is mine, this is my debut. The book Seraphim, so this kind of came out of a deeply personal limitation about the impact that Black women have had on my life. Not just, I feel like I've inherited kind of a revolution from them. I think at every stage in our modern history, Black women have really stood at the forefront and on this and lent their voices, their power, their strength. And I use the imagery of the seraphim because seraphim, in kind of biblical archaeology or ideology, they were created to serve, right? There's this idea that Black women, we put everyone on our backs and we run the ball, we'll help deliver things. That really kind of came home to me during the 2016 election things. I'm 92% of us showed up and voted one way and then everyone else. And so I was instead of writing about my frustration with others, I'm going to write about my love for this community that comes together, upholds, uplifts, carries along, passes along the idea of care for one another and for the rest of the world, even if it won't always benefit us. And so there is, and it's in memoriam of my mom. She passed away last year as well. So I think she was the biggest seraphim because she, unconventional angel, because she lived life in a very interesting way. It was pretty wild, but it also gave me an opportunity to see angels in everyone. I think there's this popular portrayal of we're too loud. I don't need this mic. I've learned how to project my voice. If I'm in a room, you're going to learn to listen to me. And so that's something we learn. We learn to lift our voices. We learn to project. We learn to make people listen to us. But then there's the flip side of that. Sometimes we're told we're too loud. We're too passionate. We take up too much room. We take up too much space. And I say, fuck that. That's what we're going to do. And so when I moved back to Chicago after many years away, I was living in a little apartment on Ida B. Wells and Dearborn, across the street from a gas station. It is pretty iconic. You all went past it at some point. If you haven't, you will find yourself there at some point. It's one of the few gas stations downtown. But holy shit, there's all kinds of weird things that happen in that gas station. And I was in this little apartment. It was just like a little sublet for a couple months. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear this loud ass shit outside the window. I lean out, but everyone sounds so happy in this like chaos. I look out the gas station window, and there is a group of black women who have just jumped out of a vehicle, and they have just made this gas station a place of celebration. I almost wanted to call the cops, but I was like, nah, this is too fun. This is too authentically Chicago, and it is exactly this moment that I wanted to memorialize. And so I opened Seraphim with this. It is called Sister Seraphim, Inextinguishable Light. They dancing and singing tonight. Black Barbies backlit by gas station fluorescence, stunning, singing, holy, holy, holy. Their loud praises rattling my window, syncopated steps, wings out, rhythm on, radiant, with a backbeat unbroken, backs unbroken, unfettered and unbothered in 8 and 16 time. This very night, there before me is an angel, and I saw her drop it low. All while cars pull in and out, top off or fill up at the pumps. I can relate to being half empty and thirsting to be full. She, her, they blazing. This could be worship. Loud and exuberant as every light beach club where I once got hot and sweaty to reggae, rubbed underneath somebody as vigorously as kindling before catching fire. It can be easy to forget how good adoration feels. I can't forget it. What good feels like? Paradise. They so flame and I see it. It could be heaven. This lot of half-level, bumpy concrete, glittering full jewel with bottle shards and wrapping paper confetti. They could burn it all down, but glory, they invite us to join the chorus. So the second one, it's a little bit of my origin story, but it's also my mother's origin story. So my mom was in the 80s, so she had me 2 months after she turned 18. We had a very Catholic family. She went to an all-girl Catholic school. She had dropped out of school to have me. She was in a punk band in Chicago in the early 80s, so she was like there at a time of like just kind of wild craziness. And I got raised with this woman who like just absolutely took no shit and was like, live life the way you want to live it. And so I'm writing this origin story because she was an angel too. Like she wasn't your everyday like idea of like this whole puritanical like pure angel, but she like had fire and verve. And that's something that Seraphim did, they burn, right? And so this next one is called Angelique and Origin Story. My mama said I was blessed born. Said she didn't need divine messenger to convince her of what she carried. Knew immediately that I didn't need to be brought into this world by virgin or conceived as sacrifice. Didn't need a sign. She said she knew a good thing coming, despite the short-term trouble for a teen nearly as young as Mary. She'd already done a lot of living in her small corner of the world. My mama said, her mama said, and really, because my people say, there's power in names, like the many names of God, one of which has got to be mama. Or like, also like we say, name it or claim it. Or like, when you're reaching for a word like moist or itch, no other word will do. All that got her thinking. My mama said when they laid me to her breast, she cradled me to her chest where her beating heart hummed of survival and salvation. and that throbbing tune lulled us both to sleep. My mama said, a punk girl can dream of angels and know when one manifests. She looked into an angel's eyes and claimed it as her own. A lot, obviously this book is about Black women, so you're gonna find lots of icons and this goddesses, nature, etc. So I started a genealogy project many years ago because children of the diaspora don't have the same benefit of being able to attribute their homeland to one particular place, right? And so we're always in the midst of searching and trying to figure out who we are, right? And so one of those, as I was going through this genealogy project, was finding out that one of my ancestral homelands was Senegal. And it's one of many, because again, you get brought here, you encounter many things, and then you get thrown into a whole lot of stuff, and then you come out you. Right? But one particular legend from Senegalese legend is Mama Kuongo Bang. And it was really interesting to come across her because she was a goddess that predated any of the religions that, the kind of the majors, right? The Christian, Judeo faith. And so it was interesting to learn of this woman who had so much power, who sprang from violence. And so I'll start there. So Mama Kuongo Bang speaks to the revolution. And I think of Black women as revolutionary figures, so we get the revolution. And the legend is, she was here before religion, before Islam, before Christianity, she was here. This is in her voice. You were born from legend, dear child. The fishermen learned of us first, before plunder, before thirst, before baptism, before suckling at breast. There was me, and you nestled in me. Formed first from salt and undertow, in my watery room, you a caviar in my fleshy belly, born in the sweet mouth of the river. You walked on water before men. You, fishing loaves, called for offerings, given milk in droves. The sailors, travelers, foreigners learned to behave with gratitude, else risked drowning. There was no God with dominion that made us goddess, who chooses what you will accept. Seek not oblivion or rest. Stop waiting only to walk the night as deceptive and dangerous as the river, ready to take more than you need. Now, I was thinking I would only read one, and it's a long one, but I felt like the other ones were really short, so I'm going to break it up and do something kind of funny, if that is possible. So, let's see here. This one, because I talk about multiplicity and making room for all of our experiences. Again, I think angels come in different shapes and they walk among us. And so you can be an angel and still be on some ratchet shit. The way I feel, like you can't separate, you can't have a mother and then say there's a whore, we're all fucking. So, So this one is called After Listening to Megan Thee Stallion's Thought Shit. I do enjoy Megan Thee Stallion, so. Never had a chance to miss what I never had. I've spent my time lounging in unmade beds, wrecked by meaningless sex, men I just met. Good girls don't get good head. Choir, for every uttered that hoe over there, I've consoled myself with no regrets for the never done or never said. Exhausted myself in tantric positions, been held wide, open, split, molten, and volcanic. Spent myself between him, her, and them. Felt alive and divine. Yes, I did that. Church, the the one who dipped clever fingers into my crevices hunting for a bit of honey, suckled at my clitoris and said I tasted a wild honeysuckle ripe for plucking. Yes, I've been fucking. Tongue twisters twisted between the bodies of men and women, drunk and eager, phone calls and frenzy. I've spilt plenty of liquor in North Halsted bars, littered Lincoln Park with a body count that didn't heed the warning of my red pumps and skin-tight shirts advertising. Half the girls knew it better. All right, and this will be the last one. It's called Wheel of Fortune. It is after the TV show. Growing up, that was like a family event for us. Like, we'd sit down to dinner and we'd yell at the TV and figure out which one of us could name the thing first. And of course, because I was the youngest, you know, the adults always knew the answer before me, but they pretended that they didn't. And so when we talk about like routines and these inherited, like, you know, routines, traits, all of those things, this is one that I now share with my daughter. And it's called Wheel of Fortune. The TV plays a game show, and my daughter and I watch a beautiful woman say she learned to speak English by watching Wheel of Fortune in her native land. It's a pretty story. A lie, a good one though. She's born from colonized country, and I've walked over those same streets, felt the paving underneath my soles, stopped for gas artificially inflated by British monopoly, asked for direction and received it easily. I've ordered fried jacks fresh out the oil and fire with my boiler, eagerly enfolded and embraced skin folk I barely knew. The diaspora does that, makes cousins of unknowns. Our names are on her tongue, and our tongues know her name. Should I fault the flaw in the story? When I've cooed and exchanged tea with my tour guide, my thick lips also thirsting to craft a new autobiography? How many men have asked me where I'm from when I've only been interested in where I'm going? Both of us disappointed, hoping for what I'm not. We do what we do to survive. My mama was braided into an ancestor's hair, me wombed in the womb of the wombed. And when I'm asked my story, where do I begin? When the boundaries of our countries are the lies. I answer, lush and rain, bounty and lean. I tell them flowers, rice and coffee, cotton and sugarcane. Tourists ask me how the same boat dropped my sister at a different port. Ask how it felt to finally tongue the slick flesh of mango. Ask how the waters of Flint have touched shores not yet explored. Tonight, I'm rooting for the liar, for reinvention and redemption. I hope she buys a vow. Breathless with anticipation, I await the moment she secures the bag and says, just kidding. All the contestants think they figured it out, but this language is full of lies too, exceptions and traps. There needs to be a class for those of us who learn words from reading, seeking and sounding them out. The ruse is only a success if she wins. If her tongue doesn't trip, pray God, Mother Diaspora, the national narrative of our ragged dick, give a little to get. I've turned into both child and second mother, glued to the TV. Dinner fork laden with collard greens near my lips, shouting out clues to an unsolved puzzle, making guesses at what I don't know. Now my daughter is me, and we're replaying a history where I pretend I don't know the answer so she can win too. Really quickly, I have a bunch of books. I am not selling them, just come and grab one. I'm a very shitty capitalist. There you go.
They're in the House of Socialism, so mailing list if you're not already on it. Huge thanks to CPC staff, to our incredible volunteer Chris behind the bar.